Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Whenever you're ready, Bola.
Alright, hey everybody, my name is Bola, Mikhaeil, and this is my senior project presentation. So, my essential question was, how could I build a workbench and install wall-mounted hooks for football equipment that doesn't take up too much space as well as organizes it? Why did I choose this project? I chose this because I was a part of the team. I hope that it would make the coaches' lives a lot easier applying stickers or taking them off. And I also know that for helmets, the face masks and the chin straps to get like loose or anything like that, so they'd have an area to work on it. And it also helps with organization. And I enjoy building stuff. About me a little bit, I enjoy like whenever we get new IKEA furniture or anything like that. I enjoy like putting them together, assembling them together. I didn't really do any start from the ground up. I just kind of assembled them all together, so this was a little bit new for me. Research. I researched a lot about workbenches, wall-mounted hooks, and measuring actually. So for the workbenches, I watched a lot of videos, like a ton of them, and I ended up getting like how I wanted my final project to look like. For the wall-mounted hooks, there's also a ton of videos on those on YouTube. And for the measuring, I asked my mentor about some advice he gave me was to get a piece of graphing paper and have one graphing paper for each wall and basically write the measurements on it and stuff like that. And my mentor, this is my mentor, Mikhaeil. He's my neighbor and also like an actual carpenter. I chose him for this project because he has a business that he does working with this kind of stuff. He has a lot of experience and the materials needed for this project. Alright, so for approval, first I got approval from the English teachers. It was pretty easy, just a light interview. And then I needed approval from Mr. Angler since I was building something on the school grounds. And for that, I sent him an email, and then we met in person. And then he actually told me to come back to him for approval with graphing paper and all my measurements, which I did right there. So for my planning, I plan to get a sponsor, move the old shelves that were right there, clean the area a little bit because it was pretty bad under it, build the table and install the hooks. Was pretty easy. At least I thought it was easy. So for building, first picture right here is of my mentor using a table saw. He's just showing me how to actually use it and not cut a finger off. And here's me right under it, trying to do it. In that picture, you could actually see that it's kind of like not cut all the way through because it kicked back on me and I wasn't expecting that. So I had to flip it over and cut the rest of it. Here's me putting screws in for the table legs. And then right here is the table with a bunch of wheels on it from the bottom to have it easier to move. And then here's the frame done for the table. And then here's me and my mentor with like the tabletop on top of it. Kind of halfway done, I guess. So after we did that, he gave me a suggestion to stain the wood. So first I had to sand it. I used a palm sander. And then here's me taking the color for the stain. And then right here, I actually used like a little gadget that he had for something called pocket screws, which is like basically a pocket screw to connect it to the tabletop without like being able to see any like screws or brackets or anything. And then right here is actually wood putty that I used to fill in the screw holes from the front to give it a nice clean look. And also the tabletop, when I was getting approval from Mr. Angler, he told me that he had an extra one and he donated that to me. So, and then here's the before and after. For the top I used an espresso stain, and for the bottom I used a natural stain. And And then my mentor also gave me a piece of suggestion or advice was to build shelves under it. And that's what I did. I first put 3 pieces of 2x4s, and then I put the little shelves on top of them. And then I ended up using a nail gun to keep them together. And then I also stained it the natural color. So what does my project look like now? Here it is in the locker room. Here's a bunch of stuff like helmets and whatever that needs to be there. And to the right, all the equipment necessary for the helmets, stickers, all that. And I don't really have any pictures of this because I was carrying it from my car with Dominic Diaz and putting it in the locker room. So I wish I took a little bit more pictures. And I also brought it in without the tabletop and then connected them later, assembled them later together because the tabletop was very heavy, so it was just hard to carry. Alright, so failures and obstacles. My biggest failure was probably not being able to install the wall-mounted hooks due to the tile wall. At first, I talked to Mr. Engler about it, and he told me that I would be able to drill through the grout, which is the area between the tiles. And when I tried that, it was very hard to do. It took around like 5 minutes for one little hole, and I didn't even get through all the way. Another failure or obstacle was time management. I started this pretty late, and I was just procrastinating. I really want to do it. And then one more thing was bad weather. Whenever I was staining the project, it takes a few hours, 1 to 2 hours for the stain coat to dry. And it started raining, so I had to cover it with tarp. And I procrastinated even more. So it didn't get done for like another week. And then I didn't meet my original goal of installing the hooks. Successes was I built the table. I think it looks pretty nice. I also put something my mentor called poly on it, which gave it a nice little shine, and I think scratch resistant as well. I had fun building it, and I enjoy building these kind of things. And it was my first time like doing this kind of project, and I finished my project on time. What did I get out of this project? I got new skills that I'll probably use for a lifetime if I ever need them. Relationships, I made a new friend, my mentor right here, and I got experience building stuff like cutting wood, measuring, and all that. Thank you to Mr. Carter for making sure that I actually got this project done. He would always check up on us in class and see how we were doing. My mentor, Ben right here, for giving me a lot of suggestions and advice on how to do this. I don't think the table would have turned out like as good as it did without him. I probably would have just stopped it halfway and said it was good enough. Medway lumber, because actually for the hooks, my mentor suggested that I go to Medway lumber and see if they could give me some like a discount on it, because the ones at Home Depot, Lowe's were way too expensive. And I did that. I went to Medway Lumber. I talked to Paul, who was the owner, and they gave me a pretty big discount, even though I didn't even use them. Mr. Engler for donating the tabletop for my project, and my sponsor, my parents' restaurant, Spot Cafe, and Works Harder.